Today marks 9 years since my dad passed away, and I wanted to share a little bit of what I learned about grief, especially around the anniversaries and the emotional waves that come with them. Now, my dad passed 9 years ago, but that's not my first introduction to grief. I lost my brother, Jeff, to suicide 31 years ago, and then 20 years later, I lost my youngest sibling and last surviving sibling to an overdose. So grief's no stranger to me. And I am a grief therapist, but that does not mean I'm immune to feeling the waves of grief, having grief triggers. So I wanted to just spend a little time today on this day that some of these triggers and reminders come back up strong. For those who are not sure what a grief trigger is, grief triggers are unexpected reminders, whether it's songs, places, smells, dates, times of the year that stir up intense emotion or memories. And they can come slowly in or they can come crashing in. It's normal. It's not a sign of weakness. It's not a sign that you're going backwards or you're stuck. This is normal to experience these grief triggers. Anniversaries are just one of the grief triggers, and other significant dates like the death anniversaries, or it could be wedding anniversaries, it could be birthdays, it could be holidays. These are all times that can bring a rush of emotions, a flood of memories, sadness, and even guilt up years later. I had just shared earlier losing my brother 31 years ago, and I can say that there are certain days that they can come flooding back, especially around anniversaries. For me personally, anniversaries usually are tough. And I can say that sometimes I'm not even aware of the date. And that's usually in the month of May, because month of May, for I don't know why, for many reasons, is always just so busy. So I'm never aware of the date as it arrives. But what I am aware of is all of a sudden I will feel this real intense heaviness in my body. Like I'll feel more fatigued, more sleepy, want to nap a little bit more. And I definitely am more emotional, whether it's like irritable or just this sadness and teary eyed. And when I'm aware of that coming up, I can prepare for it. When I'm not aware, like I said, in the month of May, a lot of times I'm so busy, and that's when it comes sneaking up. This year, I was very well aware of it because I went away and I went to the Florida Keys where my dad lived. Now, this is only the second time going down there since his passing. So it was hard. It was also very beautiful and very nice. So it was a mixed feeling of emotions, I should say. But because I think I was more aware of the anniversary coming up and more aware of my sadness or more aware of missing my dad and was thinking more about it, today wasn't as hard. And that's why I wanted to share that with you, is that truly when we are aware of our triggers and we give space to it and we allow the emotions to come out, or we are just ready for it. And we may say, okay, I know I'm going to feel sad or more tired. And we let the people around us know so that they can support us the best way that they can in those times. Maybe I clear off my schedule and don't have as many clients during this week, or maybe I don't work out as much because I need more rest. It's giving myself that grace and space that I might need if they come up and when they come up, because they do come up for me. And what I want to share is that this day has always been pretty hard because it has some mixed emotions of some other things, like the guilt of I didn't do enough and I wasn't able to get there and see my dad. And I'm going to try not to cry because that's the part that hurts the most. But I noticed today, and I notice as I'm speaking of it right now, I feel it in the pit of my stomach. I feel nauseous and I feel heavy. And there are things for people to pay attention to. It's not just an emotional feeling. It's not just a thought, but it could be a somatic feeling. I was not able to see my dad before he passed. He was going on hospice and he was arriving to hospice the day before I was able to get there. He arrived late at night and I was to come the next day. And I was so excited to see my dad because he was where he wanted to be. And I was on my way. I was loading a plane and I was getting ready to come back home. I was out for work doing speaking tour, and I was just so hopeful that I would have that time with him and was not ready for the phone call. And I missed 2 phone calls and I didn't recognize the numbers. I was standing in line as we were boarding the flight. And then I got a call from my husband who knew that I was walking on a plane. But I picked it up and he had to tell me that my dad had just passed. And that was who was calling me. It was the hospice. So as I speak of that, I do feel it. And I can tell you this morning I was working and it was pretty much the same time that I got that phone call that I started not feeling good in my stomach. So I wanted to hop on here today and share that these anniversaries and having grief triggers, they're real. And you may experience that and it's okay. Like I said, this year is definitely different than years past because I would spend more time probably in tears because it hits me so hard. But this year I prepared for it. I was ready and gave myself more space while I was away. I spent time thinking about my dad out on the water and talking to my dad. And I even took some of his ashes and released some of the ashes while I was there. So I think that has helped me. But on times when it comes crashing, that's okay too. I just have to give myself the space. And I want to encourage you on the anniversaries or times when that happens, give yourself space. So what can you do on anniversaries? What might help you? How can you cope with an anniversary? Here's a couple things that might help. Maybe create a ritual or have like a memory moment. Light a candle. I have a special candle for my loved ones, and I tend to light that candle on the day of the anniversary. Usually have their picture next to it. And I tend to go buy flowers and put a bouquet of flowers of their favorite color next to it. I might share stories. I talk about maybe my dad a little bit more. I might put up on Facebook his picture or share a memory. You might also be able to just go through old photos or watch some old videos, whatever feels right to you. And if it feels like, oh, this might be too much emotion, okay, then you can stop. But don't think because you're feeling emotion that that's a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. We grieve because we love. We grieve hard because we loved hard. This is just an extension of our love that we have for that person who's no longer with us. I want to give you permission to feel. Allow yourself to feel whatever it is. Connect with someone who understands. Maybe join a support group or talk to someone else in the family or someone else who has been through something similar. Maybe just write a simple letter to your loved one, telling them how you feel, telling them what you miss, or maybe sharing with them all the good things that have happened since they've passed. Do what feels right to you. Maybe just journal your emotions. Today it's 9 years since you've passed. I miss. I wish you would have been able to see. I know you'd be proud of me because of. Whatever. Just share whatever's on your mind. When you journal, that's private. You don't have to worry about what will people think. Maybe on the anniversary, do something that your loved one either supported or enjoyed. Maybe donate to a cause that they supported. Also, if the emotions are very overwhelming, practice grounding. Practice just bringing yourself back to the present. Just notice what's around you. Describe things that are around you. Feel a couple things. Listen to sounds. Get yourself back to this moment. Sometimes those emotions feel like you are back to square one, and I understand. There are just some things that you can do. I know in the past on anniversaries, I've also released balloons. I know now that's not a great thing to do with the environment. Clients of mine have shared with me they have done luncheons and they've invited friends and family to come, and they go to a restaurant of their loved one's favorite place to be, and they go around and they share memories. What a beautiful way to honor your loved one, continue their legacy. People want to still talk about people who have passed on. It seems like it's taboo, like to bring up their name, but speak their name. I give you permission, speak their name. Share your story. Share something funny or a memory that happened. One last thing that I did on anniversaries. Last year, it was 30 years since I lost my first brother, and I was dreading that anniversary. So I prepared and I said I was going to share on TikTok, because I didn't care who saw it, one memory a day that I had with my brother. And it was really hard because it was 30 years ago and I was starting to forget some of those things. I went on and every day I shared a different memory. Can I tell you how healing and how therapeutic that was for me? Probably the best anniversary I ever had. because usually I will wallow in it for a little bit and then I say to myself, enough. But this time I got to share memories with strangers, and people actually gave me feedback and were like, thank you for sharing, and would share memories back with me and wanted to hear the next memory. So I encourage you, reach out, share memories. There are people out there that will listen and want to hear it. I want you to know that it's okay, however you grieve, however you want to express your emotions. Do not judge yourself. It's okay to feel joy. It's okay to feel sorrow. It's okay to feel both of them. You're not alone. If today is hard for you, know you're not alone, because guess what? Today is hard for me too. And I truly understand, both as a therapist and as someone who has lost 3 dear members of my family. My siblings, and today my dad 9 years ago. I want to invite you to leave me in the comments below. How do you honor your loved one? How do you face anniversaries? How do you celebrate anniversaries? How do you continue your loved one's legacy? Share with me a memory, share a story, or how you handle these days. I truly want to hear. I appreciate you hearing my story or part of my story, and let me honor my dad today. This one's for you, Dad. Until next time, continue mending piece by piece, one step at a time.